Hey everyone, my name is Sean Cecil from the Oculus Institute, and today we're going to talk about the concept of secondary gain. Okay, so this is the first in a 6-video series on how to become more motivated. I mean, that's one of the questions that I actually hear the most from people is like, how do I motivate myself? How do I get motivated to do this thing? And so we're going to be using a few concepts. One is a model from psychology called the valence expectancy instrumentality model, or valence instrumentality expectancy model, which is based on a lot of psychological research. And then the second is going to be a component where there are a couple things where even if the motivation is there, the system from a biochemical standpoint is not able to respond. And so if that's the case, we're going to address some of that as well. So for this first video though, we're going to be looking at the valence portion of valence instrumentality expectancy. So valence is how much you value something. And we're going to be breaking it down here. We're going to be looking at a concept that's well known in coaching called secondary gain. So secondary gain is when somebody is getting a benefit from something that that they're perceiving as a challenge, that they're telling people as a challenge, that they ostensibly claim they want to overcome, but they're getting a benefit that they haven't recognized. And then that causes the unconscious mind to sabotage, of which, not being motivated or procrastinating or all of those things are, obviously one of the big forms of sabotage. So, one of the examples of secondary gain that I heard from a mentor was there was a cheerleader. She was a cheerleader, I think, for like an NFL team or an NBA team. It was a big team. And then she got injured. And then everybody was taking care of her during her injury. And so she was expected to recover in X amount of time, but she didn't, right? She wasn't necessarily doing her exercises and her body wasn't healing as fast as people thought, and, all this kind of stuff. And, she wanted to go and start a yoga studio and do all of these things, but she couldn't because she was injured and everybody was taking care of her. And then somebody identified that she had this hidden benefit of having everybody take care of her, and that she was deriving some degree of pleasure from this. And, she didn't have to do anything and everybody was waiting on her hand and foot, and that she had to make a choice between that life and actually going and creating the yoga studio that she wanted to create. And once she was able to see the secondary gain, then she was able to make the choice, oh, wait a minute. And then she started, doing her therapy regularly, and she got more motivated, and she went and she created the life that she wanted. But if you're in a situation where you're struggling with motivation, ask yourself, is there some kind of secondary gain, right? So, and sometimes it can come up in really unusual ways. I mean, like I once had a client where their belief was that if they made a lot of money, that their family would resent them because, when growing up, their family always used to talk about how rich people were evil and rich people were horrible and rich people this and rich people were that. And they're like, well, if I become rich, then, what are people going to think of me? And so what happened is that they would always just keep their business just earning just enough to get by without ever actually accumulating any real money, so that they avoided becoming rich, right? Because there was a secondary gain there that had to be identified. So if you're struggling with motivation, ask yourself, is there potentially a secondary gain here? If I succeed at this, then what happens? Is there anything on the other side of that maybe I'm afraid of? Is there anything on the other side of that I'd have to give something up, right? If I succeed at this, what might I lose? So that is secondary gain. And with that said, I will see you on the next video for another component of valence under the subheading of motivation. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's something that resonated with you, maybe a new connection that you made or some information that shifted your perspective, if you found value here, then I want to give you one last gift. So I've put together a free diagnostic that I call a checkup with the career doctor. Short list of questions, and as you answer them, it's going to give you a readout of where you stand on the important metrics of career fulfillment, right? How happy are you with your job and how good a fit is it? Right? Financial success, which we all know, and then internal alignment, which is your level of inner peace and the inner resources that you have to bring to creating the life that you want. Additionally, it's also going to show you which areas you can improve on to get those metrics moving in the right direction, as well as how can we at the Oculus Institute help you make progress. So it's totally free, 100%. All you have to do is just go to www www.oculusinstitute.com/purpose quiz, right? No spaces, no dashes, just oculusinstitute.com. That's OCULUSINSTITUTE.com/purpose quiz. And you can take it totally for free. You'll get a free report sent to you. And then at the end, it will give you some next steps of what you can do to reach out so that we can help you create the career of your dreams.